share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something, completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.
This is Joe Q for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Joined once again this week. Caught up with you early on in the week, but we're going to do a bit more of a sit-down, in-depth discussion by Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor. How are you?
I'm great, my brother. Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about fight week then. So we've been talking a fair bit off camera. It's been a crazy one, isn't it? We'll start off with the latest news. Tom Zanetti versus Jaden King is now off. See you get involved in a bit of beef with Jaden at the presser yesterday. What happened there?
You know, as I'm sitting down, and talking, he throws his little two cents in with me, Ashley Tebby, telling me, red shirt, shut the hell up, don't talk unless you're spoken to. You know, remind you, he's yelling in my ear as he's talking. So I get up and say, bro, like, chill out before I knock your ass out. Like, I'm not these boxer dudes. Like, I would ragdoll you all around this whole little area. You know, so then he shut his mouth because he knew who it was. And that's how happened, a little discussion, and he posted a little picture on Twitter. You know, he embarrassed himself. He wanted to go viral, but he went viral in the wrong way and got embarrassed.
Yeah, so Tom Zanetti, kind of, his entourage then, Jaden King's entourage, come flying over. Are you gutted that we're not going to see that fight? Because Tom Zanetti looked game for this.
We're not going to see this fight. The fight's been canceled. It's sad I didn't get to see Tom beat up Jaden, which, hey, I'm sure they'll figure a way out to settle a squabble.
Mams Taylor tweeted last night that he's banned from all Misfits events, that he's kind of a coward, he's just wanted this for clout. Do you believe that he was never really going to step in the ring?
I mean, you never know a fighter's intention, or it's just in general a person's intention when he's taking this fight. He could be taking this fight for clout, he could be taking this fight for money, for family, you know, for any personal needs. So you don't know where a person's mental state is taking a fight. It's unfortunate that he's not fighting because a lot of people paid to see him fight and Tom fight.
All right, and let's get on to yourself then. Ashley Raksu, Misfits. You've kind of come through MMA, you've come through the pro route, now you're in the influencer scene. What is, moving forward, your plan? Are you going to stick with the influencer stuff after Raksu?
Absolutely, possibly. I know I'm going to win this fight. I'm just more experienced and more rough around the edges, rigid fighter. I got another fight coming up soon after this. I can't really speak on it, you know, because contracts. Hopefully I get a shot at KSI in January. You know, eventually, if not KSI, I'm going to be on the KSI Misfits card in January. So there are possibilities where you will see the Pretty Boy back in action more and more. It's just I'm appalled because I don't get the respect that I deserve. You know, being the only professional actual fighter there, you know, I tend to get a little disrespect, but it's okay.
Do you think people forget that you're from an MMA background?
Right, I think people do, and they see that. Oh, a lot of people bring up the show star and the Ryan Taylor stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and I took a backlash on that, but like, why do I care what people actually think about me, about what they feel? You know, when you do that type of stuff, it tends to eat you away over time, just worrying about what people actually think about you.
And you kind of proved with the Tommy Fury fight as well that you are capable of getting there, because I know you didn't get the decision, but Tommy Fury's kind of been seasoned, training as a boxer. Since he was a kid, he's from a boxing family. So just going back to that Tommy Fury fight, like, how much did you learn from that experience? And realistically, from a profile perspective, it's kind of boosted you to be able to fight on these Misfits cards.
Right. The experience with Tommy was a wonderful experience, because I got to fight a boxer of that caliber.
Yeah.
Of that. Now, I'm not saying Tommy's a great boxer. He's a good boxer. I'm saying a caliber boxer at that height and weight. You know, where I told people, Tommy has potential to be a world champion. You just have to train hard. So I'm not taking nothing away from Tommy. He beat me fair and square, but I learned a lot from that fight. I learned how to engage my range. I learned how to become more patient in my other fights.
Do you think with the kind of the whole Tommy Fury experience with Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley, the fight hasn't materialised yet? I know you're close to Jake Paul. How much have you learnt from kind of Jake Paul and this whole media machine?
Jake Paul, I would say, is a clever fella. He's not going to he'll give you a snippet of what he knows, but he's not going to intentionally tell you what he knows until he decides to. As far as Tommy and Jake, who knows where that happens down the line. Jake can be like, hey, I want to fight Tommy. Hey, I don't want to fight Tommy. I believe once Jake beats Anderson Silva, which he will, I think the WBC, WBA, and WBO will recognize Jake as a boxer, and Jake will probably get a ranking within that system of the cruiserweight. That right there potentially closes the door on KSI, Tommy Fury, because now you're talking about Jake Paul, who's ranked, and I'm sure we all know Jake's personal goal is to fight Canelo within 3 years, probably.
Do you think that'll happen then? Do you think Jake Paul will fight Canelo?
Yeah, absolutely. If it makes, I mean, look at Floyd Mayweather versus Deji. I mean, look at it. If Deji can fight Floyd, the greatest boxer of our generation, I'm sure Jake can fight Canelo.
Deji Mayweather then. Deji's another name you've been involved about. You want that fight. It's out in Dubai. Will you be out there?
I'll be out there. I'll be watching the fight.
You'll be watching that fight with
Yeah.
close intentions. Deji KSI, Deji's been more active over the past couple of years. KSI has had some time out the ring and now coming back with kind of mean intentions. He fought in August, he wants to fight in January. You've thrown your name out there. Who would you rather fight, KSI or Deji?
KSI. Just a bigger name. Bigger opportunity, bigger guy, a lot stronger than Deji, but Deji has more of the higher potential upside than KSI.
Who do you think is the hardest fight in the terms of boxing?
I wouldn't say neither of them are hardest fights for me. I'll breeze right through them. It's just the only difference is the height difference between the two. You know, KSI is about 6'1", Deji's probably like 5'8", but it doesn't become a hard fight for me. I know how to weather a storm. I know how to get through them.
Even though you are smaller then, do you think you can knock them out?
Absolutely. They have no answer for what I bring in my pressure. Now that I'm training more now I'm putting a lot of my time and training into boxing more than, say, MMA, I'm able to focus more on boxing than MMA.
And the fight's going to be shown on DAZN in the UK. Again, that's a big thing, certainly in this country. It shows the big fights. Just signed a multi-fight deal with AJ. It was meant to show Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. Right. So it's an actual boxing platform. For you, is that important to make sure you're seen by the right people? Absolutely. I think that's everybody's goal, to be seen by the right people. You know, one of the promotions I would love to have worked with would be Frank Warren or Eddie Hearn, because they do a good job at promoting their fighters and supporting their fighters. You know, I don't really know too much of the other PBS and, you know, all the other promotions, but absolutely, I would love to keep fighting out here in England because I like it out here in England. The money's good, the weather's good, the food is good. There's an opportunity, especially fighting on DAZN. You never know who's watching. You know, you never know who's watching. Going to the boxing side of things then, just a bit more, I want to speak to you about a moment early on this year where AJ come up to you. He knew who he was. He seemed like he was a fan of the pretty boy. That must have been a humbling thing for you. Oh man, it was the most bizarre, crazy experience. After I fought on the show SAR, AJ comes up to me like, hey, pretty boy, man, I'm a big fan of yours. I love your personality. You're amazing, man. It shocked me because now it turned me into a fan of AJ's. You know, knowing there's a heavyweight champion acknowledging someone who's small like me on the total pole of the influencer boxing and boxing MMA. I mean, you got people like Deji, Wasabi, FaZe Temper, all those bigger names than me, an influencer, but you have AJ come to me and say, hey, he's a big fan of mine. And a fight that everyone kind of thought they was going to see in December, but that's not happening, is Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. You've been around the Furies with Tommy. Now you kind of said you're a fan of Anthony Joshua. What do you think would happen if those two got in the ring? It's a massive fight for British boxing.
Honestly, to be honest, I think Anthony Joshua actually beat him. I think it's one of those. It's tricky because it's like Superman, Black Adam, and Captain Marvel, or Shazam. It's like, okay, Shazam might outbest Superman, but Black Adam can beat Shazam, but he can't beat Superman. You know, it's one of those. I think Anthony Joshua can outbest Tyson Fury, just because Anthony Joshua has a better gas tank than Deontay Wilder does, or possibly Tyson Fury.
Another big topic then is the Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. fiasco. I won't go into depth with that because that's been covered to the world and back, but I just want to get your thoughts on kind of drug testing, mainly in this influencer boxing scene. Are you drug tested? Is this a policy that is taking place on the Misfits?
No. Not of my aware or knowledge. I haven't been tested, but if they want to test me, I'm 100% game to do it. I've never popped for any PEDs or any steroids. I don't have to, you know, especially if I'm gaining weight and I'm going up and down on weight. There's no need for me to do that. Unfortunately for the Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr., it's not happening. Nobody can't really get into details because we're not 100% sure what's really happening. We can all put in our 2 cents, but at the end of the day, you need to know what you're eating and putting in your system while you're training.
Let's finish off then. Go back to the influencers. I want to know your top 3 pound for pound influencer boxers. I know you kind of separate yourself from that because you've been involved in pro boxing MMA. But in terms of your KSIs, your Gibbs, your Jake Pauls, who are the pound for pound top 3?
Well, I want to say Jake Paul. Jake Paul, we have to take Jake Paul out that because he's not an influencer. He's a professional boxer fighting on a professional level. So he's not fighting these YouTubers or TikToks. He's actually fighting professional athletes. So as far as that, I'm gonna go with Salt Poppy #1. Like I said, Jake Paul is out of it because he's not an influencer boxer. He's a professional boxer. So Salt Poppy #1. I'll give him the credit. I'll say Deji #2 because Deji has great upside and potential, and Slim #3. Even though Slim doesn't acknowledge me, it's fine. But I'm gonna give him where your credits is due. So we got Salt Poppy #1, Deji #2, Slim 3. And the reason why I say Salt Poppy, because a lot of people don't know, Salt Poppy has over 60 amateur fights in boxing, and Deji improved a lot. And Slim, we don't know what we're going to get out of Slim, but we do know Slim has 4 wins and 4 KOs.
Slim versus Ryan Taylor then. I know you've got history with Ryan Taylor. How do you think that one goes down?
It might go down to a decision, but Slim is not knocking out Ryan Taylor. But you never know. I say possibly Ryan can win by split. I say Slim might win by split. Who knows? We don't know what Ryan Taylor or what Slim are we're going to see.
How tough is Ryan Taylor?
Ryan Taylor's tough.
Yeah.
You're not going to just go in there and just run through him. You're not. He's not. He's just not. He's a tough character and a tough guy. And he has a tough team around him. Tough coaches. Tough love.
Last one then. I want to get a prediction for Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva first of all.
3rd round TKO.
Jake Paul?
Yes.
I want to get a prediction for how the Mayweather-Deji fight's going to go down.
5th round TKO.
Mayweather.
Yeah, I mean, if you really honestly think about it, like, if Mayweather wanted to, he can take Deji out in the first 30 seconds, if he wanted to. But he got to entertain, he got to carry him. He'll let him go 5 rounds with him, see what he got, then he'll just take him out.
And Anthony Taylor versus Ashley Raksu.
First round TKO.
Excellent. Anthony, thank you very much for speaking to IFL TV. Hopefully catch up with you after you are victorious on Saturday night.
I'm gonna share something with you that might put me in a very negative light. Yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife and saying completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.